webinar for LSU's partner schools. One Talks 2.0, conversations on the university life amidst the pandemic and beyond. Customer service training and orientation for safety and security frontliners. Stand for Children, empowering youth's rights. For ANIO workshops, Sulat Nimo Creative Writing, Spoken Word Poetry, and musikANIMO workshop Huni sa Balay, Home Producing, will be at 1:30 in the same afternoon. Sulat Nimo Journalism Feature Writing Workshop is at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. At 4 p.m. onwards, there will be a Vivo Fest 2022, Parades and TikTok, USG, Move It Lasaliano, an open lyrical dance contest. A Battle for the Throne, Open ML Tournament, IS Valorant Tournament, and an Open Call of Duty Tournament. Zumba, basketball and volleyball for lay partners. To cap the day, we will be having a Kumustahan with Parents. On May 12th, we'll start off the second day of Panaglambigit 2022 with another Lasallian Family Days Mass at 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Sulat Nimo Creative Writing Poetry Workshop, musikANIMO Musika ug Liriko, a workshop on songwriting, and cineANIMO workshop on visuals of cinema will be at 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. cineANIMO workshop on sounds of cinema and Sulat Nimo Journalism workshop on news writing is at 10:30 up until 11:30 a.m. Also, starting at 9 a.m., there will be a cineANIMO film screening. This will last until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. At 1 to 4 in the afternoon is the Jumpstart for Student Leadership webinar for LSU's partner schools. And the Stand for Children Empowering Youth's Rights. At 1:30 p.m., there will be a continuation of workshops. These include Sulat Nimo Journalism workshop on editorial writing and cineANIMO workshop on emotions of cinema. Bibo Fest 2022 will continue at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pause a while, Dua Anay ug Duawanay, Song and a Picture, and TikTok will be there too. Along with this is the University Student Government and the Integrated School Student Government's Syncronimo Open Lip Sync Battle, and another Battle for the Throne, Open ML Tournament, IS Valorant Tournament, and a USG Open Call of Duty Tournament. There will also be another round for Zumba, basketball, and volleyball for lay partners. The third day of Panaglambigit 2022 will start off with environmental stewardship at 9 to 10 a.m. Simultaneous to this is Sulat Nimo Creative Writing Monologue Workshop. At 10 a.m., there will be a session about coping up with the new normal realities of student life with Brew Zone. Activities for the afternoon include Stand for Children Empowering Youth's Rights and an orphanage visitation from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The Lasallian Family and Feast Day Mass will be at 2 to 3 p.m. in the same afternoon. Finally, at 3 p.m. will be the start of the celebration of winners. Starting off with Bentugan Awards 2022 and ANIA LaSalle Harvest of the Arts Festival Awards. This is followed by Balay Year-End Kumustahan, the acknowledgement of newly accredited organizations and accomplished organizations, and the launching of Lasallian Athletes Academy and Lasallian Artists Academy. On the last day of Panaglambigit 2022, we will start early at dawn. At 4:30 a.m., we'll commence the ANIMO Bike to Heal, starting off from the Malindang Golf Course of Bagakay up until Gala at La Ferme. Lastly, at 9 a.m. is the E-Run Awarding and Recognition in Gala La Ferme. And that concludes our list of schedule and activities for Panaglambigit 2022. Be a part of this fun celebration. Register in workshops, webinars, and wellness programs. Participate in games and win awards. This is Panaglambigit 2022. Animo Lasal. Panaglambigit 2022, LaSalle University Family Days, building communities to
Kuyog gupit sa panaglambing.
ANIA LaSalle Harvest of the Arts Festival. musikANIMO involves diverse Bisaya songwriters both in LaSalle University and the regions of northwestern Mindanao.
Let me be the change I want to see, to do with strength and wisdom all that needs to be done, and become the hope that I can be. Set me free from my fears and hesitation. Grant me courage and with spirit to face the challenge. Start the change I long to see. I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the spark. Service and communion. Let us start the change we want to see. The change that begins in me. Today I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the star. Service and communion. Let us start the change we want to see. The change that begins in me. Jesus in us. Jesus in
Gampya gandaw mga manunulat og kanta. Welcome to musikANIMO's Huni sa Balay Home Producing Workshop, and we are hoping for you to enjoy today's session. Surely our speaker for today's workshop will excite everyone and we can learn to hone our talents. May I request, if it's possible, please do turn on your video for us to have a more interactive discussion even in virtual space. All right. All right, again, hello and good afternoon, participants, and I welcome you all to musikANIMO Huni sa Balay Home Producing Workshop. I hope you'll have fun in today's workshop and the entire Panalagbiget 2022. But before anything else, to welcome us all in this momentous workshop, we give you the musikANIMO Founding Festival Director, Dr. Filimon Bonita Blanco, for his opening remarks.
ANIA LaSalle Harvest of the Arts Festival. musikANIMO involves diverse Bisaya songwriters both in LaSalle University and the regions of northwestern Mindanao.
I conceptualized musikANIMO as a songwriting festival in the area. It was actually inspired by the former LSU Minpap. And it was at the time that the marketing director, Sergio Divaras, talked to me of the idea of creating a music festival. And suddenly, knowing me, suddenly that idea of, again, creating a platform or a creative playground for young artists in the area suddenly ding in my mind. And then together with the other team of the culture and arts directors in the university, Sir Ted, Sir Aldrin, and Sir Rio, we sort of really brainstorm of birthing a music festival that LaSalle University will organize, will host. And suddenly I come to that idea that I wanted to create a festival, a music festival that is unique, that is not just the common, Minpop festival, but it has a name of its own. And then that's when I started that we should invite a composer, writer, or a singer who can, introduce a unique genre that is not so common in the area. And then that's why I started inviting Maan Chua of Davao. At the time, I was very strict. You cannot submit entry to musikANIMO if you have not joined the songwriting workshop. And so I invited Manchowa. She facilitated a 2-day workshop for the young musicians in the area, because I wanted to create a festival that is not the common thing, beyond the normal, the so-called beyond the normal. So Manchowa, knowing her kind of music, knowing her genre, which is really quite very Mindanaoan in a sense. So I invited her, and observing the workshop and how challenged the students were at the time after the 2-day songwriting workshop, I know for a fact that musikANIMO will create a name of its own. However, during that time, we thought that there were already, when we made already publicity, there were already inquiries for submissions by other young composers or young singers in the area, but they were not able to attend the workshop. So that's when I created an open category. So we had 2 categories. One was for those who really participated in the songwriting competition, and one with the open category. And I didn't realize that that's how young musicians and composers in the area received the project. And I was very ambitious. I wanted to challenge them to really produce a music video. Because again, I wanted to create ripples because of this music festival. So part of the requirement to the festival was to really submit a music video. And this music video that they are going to share, and that was a time that I was so amazed, the thousands of shares, this music video. And you can see how these young composers, young writers, young musicians really put their heart into the music videos. Through the years, through the festival, we are able to prove that there is a need for this kind of festival in the area. Because if there is no need, then why would I receive such number of submissions? In fact, I'll tell you this, that when we already made the cutoff of the deadline of submissions, there were already inquiries, especially when we created the Facebook page of musikANIMO, and then people started sharing the music video. It created ripples, and there are a lot of inquiries. Can we still submit? And of course, I do not want to just entertain them, because I have rules and guidelines to follow. And I told them, maybe in the next round of musikANIMO, you can submit your music, your composition. I always say that LaSalle University is the creative playground of these young artists in the area. That's why I am very happy that musikANIMO will have its 2nd edition this year. And I'm seeing that musikANIMO will once again challenge, tickle the minds, tickle the creativity of the young composers in the area. And I believe that musikANIMO, being the only festival in this area so far, I would be modest, maybe northwestern Mindanao area, that we already influence other, maybe other institutions to do the same. But in 2019, when we started musikANIMO, it has created an effect. I will not mention names, but there were already inquiries from other music festivals that if they wanted to cross post the songs that are published in the musikANIMO page. But I said that it has to be with the musikANIMO first, because we have an agreement with the composers that the music videos are uploaded on the musikANIMO page solely for the purposes of the promotion of the festival, and we should not give it to anybody else who would want to ask films, because we have to protect the rights of the composers. I am Filimon Bonita Blanco, the founder of musikANIMO, and I am formally turning over festival management of musikANIMO to the LSU Educational and Digital Media Services team headed by Mr. Ted Najan Pakan. I am wishing for the second edition of musikANIMO that you will again challenge young writers to continue writing, to continue producing songs that are distinctively and uniquely local. Not a copycat from somewhere, but you are sharing your voices with us through the musikANIMO. So all the best to the aspiring composers. I am forever Lasalian, Animo Lasal.
musikANIMO Music Festival.
Thank you for your wonderful message, Dr. Blanco. We will surely strive to continue what you've started. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are all excited, and so am I. So to know our resource speaker for this afternoon's workshop, let's watch this.
Richmond Piguera is a singer-songwriter, musician, producer, and currently studying Bachelor of Music in the University of Immaculate Conception. He is also an arranger and beatboxer of the a cappella group P Square, which was a contender of ABS-CBN's Your Moment last 2019. As a composer, he released numerous songs on different streaming platforms. Also, he became one of the top 5 finalists of Minpop 2022 with his song, Di Kasabot.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Mr. Richmond Piguera.
Charot. Okay. Hello. Hello to everyone and welcome to welcome to Huni sa Balay, a guide. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Huni sa Balay, a guide to home producing, and I am your host, or host ba? I don't know. But I am your speaker for today. My name is Richmond Figuera. But before anything else, no, I just wanna thank you guys sa mga naminaw karon o especially sa nag-invite sa kuha sa mga organizers, sila Rayan, sila Earl, and sa uban pa. I'm so sorry wala ko ka balo sa wala ko kaila sa uban. Pero again, thank you so much for inviting me um to be a speaker for your event. I think your event is very helpful. It's very exciting pod because I've never heard of an event that talks about film and music at the same time pod. Especially with music production in general. No, so I am again, I'm very flattered. I'm very honored to be part of your event. And I'm so excited nga nadaghan jud kay kog ma-share sa inyo karon adlaw guys. So I hope to everyone who's listening right now na may matun-an sa kuha. And yeah, let's begin no. So let me just introduce myself for a bit. Sige, so let me just introduce myself for a bit. So again, my name is Richmond Figuera and I go by the artist name Richmond. Richmond na siya, di na siya Rexmond. Diyan mo na kayo. So, and I am a student from the University of Immaculate Conception, taking up Bachelor of Music major in music education with classical guitar concentration. And I will be graduating in less than 2 months from now, karong June. So please wish me luck unta mag-graduate na dyan. And I'm also a singer-songwriter, musician and arranger, and also sa mga naminaw karon, mga aspiring pod, I'm also a bedroom producer. So makarelate jud mo sa kuha. And I've released 2 singles so far back in 2020. So unya na ako i-plug later na siya. So I am also a vocal percussionist or beatboxer of Davao's premier vocal group P Square. So that's my a cappella group here in Davao, and we have participated in ABS-CBN's Your Moment back in 2019. So we were able to perform twice on the show. And lastly, I am one of the top 5 finalists for the recent MinPop 2022 with my song Di Kasabot. Ayan, so you can find that on Spotify. So that's about it about me, no? So kung what's my favorite color? My favorite color is red. What's my favorite drink? Iced coffee. And I don't know. I don't know what else. No, so uh, sige. So before I talk about the technicalities of this whole talk, you know, I just want to say some things. I just want to put them out there before I actually begin. Basig na lang may assumptions. And the first is disclaimer lang. No, I'm not a professional. No, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not qualified to talk about this topic. You know, when I say that I'm not a professional, it generally means that I don't have the formal education when it comes to music production. You know, I may have a music education degree, but that doesn't necessarily cover the scope of music production. I mean, naaman min music technology na subject, but um, it's not really enough for us to learn like how to really produce at a very professional level, you know. So it's just one of the things na appeal siya sa mong curriculum. But what I can say is I am rich in experience and I have been taught, I have a lot of mentors pod that I have known in this journey of mine, no, especially sa mga very talented o very mga bigatin kay nga producers diri sa Davao pod. So I'm very blessed to be at the point where I want to be. And again, I'm so excited to share to you guys kung sa man ako na experience o kung sa ako natunan. All right. So another thing is I don't have a full-blown studio. So I'm saying this because basig na ay misunderstood, basig na ay maliog sabot about this talk na basig I'm gonna be talking about how to make a studio at home. No, so I'm just gonna clarify and say no, I'm not gonna do that. Um, kung sa akong pagsabot manggod sa kaning talk is that the purpose of this talk is to enable you guys to use the minimal amount of equipment but still be able to produce very satisfying output very impactful music, and overall daghan magma-produce, 'di ba? And that's why I'm so flattered na invite ko diri, because I do just that. I do exactly that. I only have a few things here in my home, pero I have the courage to release songs, to make a lot of projects, and yeah, again, I'm so thankful na nag-invite ko diri, no. So yun, that's about it for my disclaimers. Unta kanang masabtan ko ninyo from the beginning pa lang, you know. So before we actually talk about the technicalities, I'm so sorry. Before we talk about the technicalities of our topic for today, of course, I'm gonna ask you guys these questions. You know, so I just want to evaluate you guys. Okay, so first is, why do you want to produce? You know, what's your purpose for producing? So it can be a multitude of things. You know, maybe you want to produce because you want your original songs to be materialized. Great. That's great. You know, kang bahala if gusto na ninyo. Maybe you want to produce because you have a band, you know. You have a band and kanang mahal kayo mag-recording studio. Then that's great as well. Of course, you know, maybe you want to produce because gusto ninyo maswito. Then why not? It's any kind of reason, you know, and it's what's important is you do you, you know, as long as you have a purpose for recording, purpose for producing, and that's what jumpstarts the experience. Okay, so Lex is, for whom or for what is your need to produce? Sorry, let me just check the slides. For whom or for what is your need to produce? Is it for yourself or for others? So again, this can be tied to the first question also. Is it for yourself? Is it for your original songs? Is it for your band? You know, is it for your band? Is it because you want to earn money? You know, I mean, you can produce for other people lang pod, but, you know, I mean, it's a business, you know. Pwede po siya mahimong business. And why is this question important? Because you have to know from the beginning pa lang daan. You know, kaya para daghan mo consider, di ba? So for example, if you just want to produce for yourself, for your original songs, then it will probably take you like gamay lang kayo na effort para mag-invest in the equipment and the knowledge that you need. Pero if you're gonna produce for either for others or for your band or for others bands, that would mean a whole different situation, because of course, you know, kailangan pa nimo experience, ay kailangan niyo i-consider ang experience sa uban. You know, it's not your experience anymore, it's the experience of uban, og unsaon ninyo pag-translate it into something that's meaningful for them and at the same time for other people. So I hope masabtan ko sa nga nga point. Next is, what kind of space do you have? Is your space suitable for recording? I think what I mean by this is that if is your space parang acoustically treated. Now I'm not saying this because mine is acoustically treated bit din. No, I mean I have concrete walls here, so meaning sound will bounce all over the damn room, diba? And it will create reverb. But what I mean by this is, do you have a space or do you have a place where it is free of distractions, free of unnecessary noises, na maka-record mo without pain? Pain yun, actually, mag-record. So, yun. So, for example, kaning aircon na ako diri. I guess madungog ninyo diri sa mic. That's a big no-no. Pero, I need it because it's so igang here. And, you know, maybe kanang na may iro sa gawas or mga manok or kanang mga sakyan ng moagi sa atbang sinabalay, you know, something like that. So what I did back then, manggod, I used to stick my head in to a cabinet, kanang butangan na ako sa nina nga cabinet, and then with my mic din nga kanang gikan sa earphones, and I just sing inside that cabinet. And I'm not saying that it's ang result is good, pero it was something na ni-improve sa akong sound. And yun, you know, kanang it's just one of those little things na inyong maisip. Pirmi. So you can make a makeshift booth where you cover your entire place with kanang blankets, this entire spot sa inyong microphone para dili mag-bounce ang sound. So, discarte, stuff like that. And last but not the least, are you willing to invest? Dato ba mo? De joke lang. Um, when I mean invest mong good, when I think about investments, it's of course dapat long term siya. Pero with music production mong good, you don't necessarily have to think of investing right now. Like for example, if some of you there nagahuna-huna mo nga, wow, this is so exciting. Mag-ipon ako, mangayo ko kwarta nga dapat makapalit ko yung aning ana. No, dili siya necessarily yung ana. No. I remember I started way back junior high school pa jud ko, and I used to record with just a digital camera, you know. Kay kabala man ko mo convert og video to audio. So record ko a cappella stuff without a metronome, without I guess mura kog perfect pitch dati. Kabalo ko sa key pero di good. Pero yun, tapos i-extract na ko ang audio ato nga mga videos, akong multi-track na ako sa Audacity. It sounded so bad back then, pero nalingaw ko. It's how I learned. Like ato din ang process, 'di ba? Kay wala man ko gitudloan dati. So ana siya. So when what I mean by investment is think of the long terms, 'di ba? So of course ako karon naka-invest ko with my condenser microphone, naka-invest ko with my software, with my audio interface, and until karon nagamit gyapon ako siya. It's because I was thinking of the long-term effects pag mag-invest ko ani gamit. And I'm not necessarily saying dapat mahal jud ka inyong gamit. No, it's not that. Kanang just some stuff that you think is good for you as a beginner, diba? Wala pa man ko yung nga mic dati. Wala pa ko audio interface dati. I only had that BM800. Katugong gold ang yung ulo na condenser mic. Nahalang ko yung ato, and believe me or not, I released a song, my first single, using that mic without an audio interface. So, that's for another story. Pero yeah, yun. So, all of these questions, I assume na-answer na ninyo. With the whole music production thing. And of course, dili na ako na yung sugarcoat. We're not gonna start with the software dayon. I don't want you guys nga mabigla mo nga mo jump na sa software but not actually knowing how to get there first. It's a journey, and a shortcut isn't always a good thing, di ba? So, of course, first, do your research. And when I say do your research, it basically means research about the music that you want to make and how people make them and what kind of components are they made of, diba? And it's important for you to know that. It's because when you start to produce music, of course you're gonna have a genre, diba? Like for example, ako, I started with a cappella music, diba? So of course nag-research ko on sa may components ani a cappella music, and I always listen to pentatonics, diba? So lima raman sila pentatonics. So what were they comprised of? SATBB. Ang isa ka B kay beatbox, diba? So yun, those are the components of pentatonics. So kato akong gusto i-emulate. How do they arrange their harmonies? How do they harmonize their harmonies? Kung giunsa nila pag just do how they do it, diba? And it's not necessarily a bad thing to copy, but just don't copy blatantly, diba? Just sundugan lang sila. Sundugan lang ilang style. Basically, yung ana. And this leads me to my second point, Manggod. Listen to music. It's important for us to listen to the music that we want to make. Kay that's where we get our inspiration, Manggod, basically. When it comes to technicalities, that's where we get the ideas for arrangements. That's where we get ideas for what's it called? ideas for the mix. Saan nila unsa yung pag-mix ng kanta. That's where we get the idea for saan na to pag kanang sundog jud, like ana jud, it's important for us to train our ears manggod para kabalo taon saan pag emulate sa ato ang ginasundugan, you know. And I think sundog is a very harsh word, but let me use reference, reference. So it's important for us to listen to the music that we want to make. Okay, mo magudjud nga atong reference, di ba? We use them as references, and for that because of that, we're able to emulate it into our own production. Okay, so unta makasabot mana. Next is choose your DAW. DAW is a digital audio workstation, and it's basically a software where we do all of these things, music production. Yeah. So why is it important for you to choose a DAW? It's because different DAWs have different features, and basig some of the features may mapabor sa inyo, di ba? And it's important for you to research different kinds of DAWs, like different kinds of software, because basig na ay features sa isa ka software nga wala dere, or basig na ay features sa isa ka software na ganahan ninyo nga wala po sa uban, di ba? And it's important for you to do that because it will greatly affect how you produce the music that you want to produce. Okay, so for example, if you want to produce EDM music, what's the best software out there? FL Studio ba? Ableton Live ba? Logic Pro ba? You like unsa man ang mga features na inyong mas ganahan, diba? Or mas you think nga mas helpful, diba? Daghan ka na sa YouTube, guys. Ipadulong gyapon ta mo sa YouTube, like how we were ipadulungan sa YouTube gyapon. Yeah, so muna siya. So let's proceed to the last question, which is diri ko mag-start sa pag-atong discussion for this topic, with the technicalities. And of course, lastly is equipment. Of course, I guess na-mention ako kaganina na, or wala, but equipment doesn't always matter. Pero it's the features of these equipments are essential for production. So we're going to be talking about the four boxes here: computer, speakers or headphones, microphones, hardware, and software. Ayan. So of course, let's start with computer. So computer, Mac or Windows, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Kani minimum requirements during akong list is applicable to all DOS. So you take time to read it and stuff, screenshot if you want. Ako lang maingon is, I guess, if you have a little bit of budget to dira, go for at least 16 gigabyte of RAM and maybe a higher type of processor, like okay na ba i8, i8 I guess, or 5.5 gigahertz, something like that, and patasan na imong internal storage, 500 to 1 TB SSD, something like that. And actually mas important pud ang RAM ug ang processor. Why is it important? It's because DOS have their own internal CPU level monitoring, and a higher CPU usage usually means na mag-lag jud yung computer. Most of the time that happens when you have a lot of tracks playing together at the same time in one project, and each of those tracks nampud kay lahi-lahi nga effects or same na effects na nag-work together. Basically, it takes all of your CPU usage, and mo nang reason nga na mag-lag. So it's important, I guess, to have slightly high-end na RAM, slightly high-end na processor para, of course, if ambisyoso kayo mo sa inyong production, dili mo maglisod, di ba? Smooth yapon yung workflow. Alright, so next is speakers. So studio monitors are important. You can see them usually sa mga professional recording studios, and even ka ng mga home pod ng mga studios, especially the KRK Rocket Studio monitors. Kani sila pinaka popular jud. Of course, if nalang sa inyong budget, no. Last time na ako gitan-aw, the price is probably around 15K. I'm not even sure kung isa ra naka speaker or duha naka pair, 'di ba? So, if only lang kung naamoy kwarta, you know. But if wala man galing and you need speakers, you can always go for speakers, Jude. Just avoid hi-fi speakers or high fidelity speakers, because the difference between high fidelity speakers and studio monitors is that high fidelity speakers are built or are designed to enhance audio frequencies, you know. They are designed to boost or enhance audio levels, and basically mugapo ang labas sa inyong music. And why is that a bad thing for us producers? It's because maatik mangud ta into thinking so for example, you're mixing a song for the first time. Ulabas siya sa high fidelity speakers. Matingal mo, hala, naisa sa labas, uy. Naisa sa gawas sa whole mix, uy. And that's a bad thing because maatik mo nga, nice na ang mix. And mix during the first time is always not good, di ba? Mixing is always trial and error. So dili pwede nga maatik ta. That's why studio monitors are important, because they don't enhance sound levels. They don't boost the all of these things. And what studio monitors do is that they just keep all the frequencies that is from your DAW, making it very easier for you to spot mga anomalya sa inyong mix and making it easier for you to mix, di ba? In general. So, yun. If wala man galing dyan may kwarta for studio monitors or speakers in general, headphones are a way to go. Mo ni siya akong ma-recommend kanitulo. These are not just random nga nakita na sa internet, pero I actually have used them before put in recording studios, especially kana Sennheiser and Samsung, na gamit na ko ni sila sa recording studio one back dati. Actually bago lang. And kaning Audio Technica is I had a friend I used this sa akong friend, and these headphones are designed for mixing audio, you know. So good thing, it's a good thing. Pero if galing wala jud may kwarta for kaning headphones or speakers, I guess what I can recommend you guys is kaning mga ear monitor type earphones. I can't really say anything like significant about them, pero for me, mo ni akong ginagamit pang mix, and I don't have any problem so far. Like madungog na ko kung asa ko nagmali, madungog na ko kung asay naglabaw, kung asa ang nalubong in the mix, and budget friendly. I'm not sure kung saan nga brand, ZSN Pro, something like that. Pero makita na niyo sa Shopee, daghan kayo siya. So yun, these are just options. I'm not encouraging you to really buy these things, pero again, options. Next would be microphones. I love talking about microphones actually, because I'm so into vocal production. Pero let's settle this debate. Condenser mics versus dynamic mics. I'm not gonna be talking about other microphones. Okay, home recording lang man home producing lang man so we don't need ribbon microphones. We don't need mga shotgun mics. No, we don't need that. So first, condenser mics. So condenser microphones often tend to be much more effective at capturing the detail in performances and offer more overall clarity when compared to dynamic microphones. And why is this? It's because the components mong of a condenser microphone should be electrically charged, and the way to do that is to apply what we call phantom power, which is basically 48 volts of electricity into the condenser microphone para mugana siya. And in turn, that's what makes them very sensitive. the sound. And yeah, madungog jud siya. Like if madungog ninyo ang samok sa aircon, madungog jud siya because madung madungog man siya, 'di ba? So yun, and that's why condenser microphones are always used put in the studio because um recording raw is important na dapat gwapo pa lang sa raw pa lang daan klaro na kayo, 'di ba? I'm so sorry yun sa aircon. I'm not sure kung unsay nadra sa sulod. But anyway, next is dynamic mics. So katong handheld na mga mics na ginagamit nato sa stage, 'di ba? So dynamic mics, they aren't really that um like useful during recording compared to condenser mics. It's because um wala, they don't really need phantom power pod. Isaksak lang ninyo sa amp or sa mixer and mugana na siya, something like that. But they are very strong, durable. Like kung kapila pa na malumping imong sure SM58, like iyang ulo ma-brain damage na, mugana gyapon imong mic. And surprisingly, um that's why ginagamit siya sa stage kanang mga live performances. It's because they can handle high sound pressure levels, so mo na siya. Actually, I have tried um recording a song with a dynamic mic. I have tried. Uh, it's not as good as a condenser mic, pero I managed to pull it off. Gamay lang siyang mix. Madala siya gamayng noise gate, madala siya gamayng EQ, gamayng reverb, ug mura na siya condenser mic ang quality. So actually, yeah, mo na siya. So let me recommend you some condenser mics, of course. So kaning mga mics diri nga nyo kita is nagamit na ako ni siya. Okay, kanin sa condenser microphones. So Audio Technica 80-2020, I had a friend use this. Katong actually ginagamit pa niya hantod karon when she sends me recordings, And the second would be the SE Electronics X1A, which is the one that I'm using right now. The SE, dili ninyo siya makita, of course, kay gamay ka kung microphone. But this is the one that I use right now. The only downside of this is that maka-pick up siya very high frequencies. And when I try to mix manggod my vocals, very sharp kaya mga S's and mga Z's and mga something like that. So medyo lisod kay siya. Pero I love it nonetheless. And of course, if wala dyan may kwarta, draa, you can always go for the BM800. Kaning gold ang ulo, di ba? And mo dyan ang starter pack sa mga streamers back in 2020. So, di ba? Uso kayo siya dati. But I'm not gonna say nga it's bad. It's actually a pretty good starter mic, and you can yeah, I recorded my first single with this, and iba na ninyo unsa. If i-stock ko ninyo charos. Bitaw, next is dynamic microphone. Gamay lang ako mo recommend. First is kaning Shure SM58, which is all over the world. Mo dyan yung ginagamit na dynamic mic. Actually, no? So kung asa mo mga adto, kung sino gigamit nila sa mga mag-perform on stage or maski ikaw mag-perform ka on stage, SM58 lang Shure, 'di ba? Because they are so reliable. Actually, mo po na akong gigamit ng mic 7B na Shure. Surprisingly, this is a dynamic mic. This is not a condenser mic. Wala po kagamit ani personally, and this is recommended po sa mga mga podcasts o actually mga home recordings po actually. I mean, kita mo tong home record lang ni Nikki katong everyday summertime. Ay, wala ko kabala tong kanta. Pero yun, summertime na kanta, muna yung gamit na mic. So, yeah, whatever. So, let's move on. Next is hardware and software. Ayan. So, let's start with the hardware muna, no? So, audio interface. So, an audio interface is a bridge between you and your DAW. Like you, like for example, your microphones and your do, and it will ang kalabasan po gikan sa do is through the audio interface padulong pud sa imo in the form of kanang sa headphones kang ganyan. So an audio interface sits between your computer and external devices like microphones or studio monitors. It's the go between that translates audio signals from a microphone into digital data that can be understood by your computer and vice versa pod. Kung unsa inyo play sa inyong do, mulabas ra pod, moagi ra pod gikan sa inyong audio interface og padulong sa inyong headphones. Ana siya. So why is it important for us to have an audio interface? So before manggod, di ba, I keep mentioning nga I have recorded and released a song using a BM800 but without an audio interface. Akong gibuhat mo dati is kato siya nga mic, gi-direct ako siya sa laptop, you know. And mo na siya kong gigamit. Mo na siya kong gigamit jud. Like for guitar and bass and vocals, mo na siya kong gigamit pang record ato nga song. And I spent around 6 months trying to mix that one and then released it in 2020 September. So yun, I still think it sounds pretty good until today. With that kind of equipment na akong gamit. But why did I buy an audio interface after that song nga nakaya man din ako wala? It's actually because of a multitude of reasons, you know. So one reason is that the laptop manggod, it's designed, this jack it's designed for video calls. It's designed for kanang very low quality na audio ana lang jud, and it's not that good in receiving sound signals from your microphone pod. And why is that? Because of this thing that we call latency. Mga latency is basically a delay. It's a small delay that occurs between, like for example, me talking into the mic padulong sa computer. Like naka direct plug in lang yung computer. And lisod manggo na siya. With high latency is so difficult to record because you can't record in real time. You know, dili man jud ninyo mabana-bana ang tempo o ang chord progression or whatsoever na inyong gi-recordan nga song. Diba? So mo nang kinahanglan nato og audio interface para mas ma-lessen or completely mawala jud ang latency. Ano good? Kaya ano mong good? If you use a mic directly sa computer, like if you plug them in directly to the computer, it's because computers can't really do things instantly, you know, and they need a small amount of time to convert and process those analog and whatever signals. So muna na high latency, and with the audio interface, it just boosts that process, diba? So karon akong pag-story ani nga mic, which is naka-plug in sa akong audio interface, in real time siya because tama ko audio interface. Pero nakasaksak din sa akong computer mismo ang audio ang microphone, mo late yun siya, no? So nadyo siya delay, which is such a big no-no for musicians, you know, kay mawala jud ta sa timing, ano. So next kind of hardware, ayan, so mo na ako ma-recommend na audio interfaces. Of course, the infamous Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 3rd Gen, which is the one that I have right now. You know, so nasa duha ka channels dira sa inyo nakitaan, napod siya duha ka gain levels for those channels. Makapili pod mo kanang nasa babaan ng duha ka pislitanan. Makapili mo if ang inyong gisaksak dira is for instrument or for vocal. So na-inst and na-air. Basically, it just boosts the gain. And you know, makapili lang dun mo. And also, what's nice about this third generation Scarlett is that naa siya 2 types of direct monitor. One is kanang mono lang ang sound, like one sound lang, or stereo. So madungog ninyo ang from both different like different um signals coming from the two different channels ana gud. So mo na siya. And of course it has a built-in na phantom power. Ang problema lang maguna ni Scarlett 2i2 is that wala siya MIDI interface. So dili ko makasaksak dra og USB MIDI. Diba? But actually that's fine kay akong MIDI keyboard pwede na ako isaksak directly sa akong computer. It works either way. So okay lang siya sa kuha. Next is the M Audio Air 1924 and mo na ko nakitaan atong guy na akong gipangayuan og Ableton sa una. Um, it looks very cool actually. Silver tong iyang model. Um, it feels like basta nice ni siya nga product, you know. So napod siya mga LED level indicators kaning mura siya kanang basta choy ka siya tan-awon ana jud. And napod siya low noise crystal preamp. So mawala jud yung noise ana. Ayun. So next is the Behringer Euphoria UMC 202 HD. So ayan, so even at a low price, this kanang nasa kilid sa Focusrite kanang black. This has two XLR and TRS kay kanang kuan. It's a type of kanang plug combo inputs with a 48 phantom power switch, parang ganyan. Ayun, and it will convert your it has a conversion of 24-bit and a sample rate of up to 192 kilohertz, making you record very high quality audio, you know, from this interface. And last but not least, the PreSonus Audiobox i1 is a very small, mo siya Bible, no? Kadako, pero it has only one 2x2 interface, one XLR output and one TRS input. Kana naadra ka ng gamay nga wuslot. Ana siya. It's one of the most straightforward pod na interfaces kay dali ra pud siya. Yun, dali ra pud kayo siya i-gamiton, isa ra pud ka book imong channel. And yun, it's mostly used for Apple devices, which is very useful, especially kung naamoy app sa inyong iPad na maka-record mo og audio daw pod sa iPad. So yun, those are some audio interfaces that I can recommend. Next on the hardware list are MIDI controllers. Ayan. So MIDI controllers are bridge the gap between computer and musical instrument, letting you play and control the sounds and virtual instruments within your DAW much more effectively. So there are many different controller designs, keyboards to play notes, drum pads to trigger samples, sliders and dials to control audio effects. Now, I'm not so sure if some of you guys have seen a MIDI controller, but a MIDI controller it basically looks like a piano, diba? But I want you guys to understand that MIDI controllers are not pianos. They are just controllers. And you can use them to trigger certain kinds of instruments, diba? And how do you do that? It's through what we call virtual instruments, and we'll be talking about that in a while, diba? So MIDI controllers are instruments, of course. Instruments good sila, but they don't actually create sound for itself by itself. No, kinahanglan jud siya magsalig sa computer og sa DAW. Kinahanglan jud siya ma-plug in sa imong computer og moagi pod sa isa ka virtual instrument, because if wala yung ana dili na mo tingog ang inyong MIDI controller. And a very versatile MIDI controller will let you trigger not only virtual instruments but also samples pod, you know, like for example mga drum samples ninyo, labi na ka ng mga drum pads and stuff like that, you know. And a MIDI controller helps you create MIDI tracks, and we will talk about MIDI in a while, you know. So ayun, so it's a piano, but its purpose is not to produce sound. It will just send MIDI data into your DAW para ma-translate niya into sound through your virtual instrument na plug-in. Okay? So I will recommend you some MIDI controllers. So first is the Akai MPK3, MPK Mini, the most common in the market. Gamay ra kayo siya, oh, kung makita ninyo, gamay siya kayo siya nga gamay ra kayo ang keys, gamay ra pud siya. Actually, wala ko yung MIDI controller yun. Pero gamay ra kayo siya, and it has drum pads. You can map your kick drums, your kick drum, your snare, your hi-hats, your cymbals there para mag-ana tug stocks, mag-ana-ana lang mo, di ba? So next is the Arturia Minilab MK2. Actually, someone's wanted me to buy this, pero wala pa kay kwarta ato nga time kay nagtrabaho pa ko sa recital. If available pa siya karon, maybe ako siyang paliton. Pero again, kung makita ninyo sa iyahang interface, napod siya drum pads, napod siya mga sliders and all, you know. Ayan. So last but not least, the M Audio Keystation 61 MK3. So kani siya, pili na ko na siya nga i-recommend sa inyo because maybe naa sa inyo nangita og MIDI controller na pinapiano. 'Di ba? Pinapiano. And actually ginagamit na ni Charlie Puth, no? Kani siya keyboard kana na lang siya sa atubangan siyang Mac, no? And it just works, you know? It just works, and basig kulangan pud mo sa kanang Akai og Arturia. So if gusto niyo ninyo magtugtog-tugtog og mga daghan kay nga chords nga di mo problema, diba kinahanglan dagad dapat moabot yun dito. Dapat moabot yun dito ang octaves, di ba, sa inyong instruments. But yeah, yun, I don't really know the price of these, but I guess they are less than $200, something like that. Pero para na sa inyo kung ma-afford ninyo. Alright, so let's move on to software. Ayan, so finally, we are in the digital audio workstation. So production, letting you record, arrange, edit, mix, and master your music. So, self-explanatory. Kung wala mo do, what's the purpose of this whole workshop? Diba? Something like that. Diba? So, that's why I told you guys kaganina nga, it's important for you to research about the DAW that you want to use para ma-correlate ninyo sa music that you want to make, 'di ba? So ako experience nako with DAWs is dili nako first ang FL Studio, pero I did try it out. It was so hard for me. Like lisod ka siya tun-an for a number of reasons. Like for example, naglisod ko about aning mixer. Like kinahanglan separate yun ang mixer. Like separate screen og for man ko dili man ko maka-afford og separate screen, so maglisod ko. Another thing is maglisod po og butang og audio effects sa akong track. Another thing is maglisod pud ko og automate sa mga effects, like kanang pababaon akong filter or kanang change tempo whatsoever. Maglisod ko lisod kayo na siya. That's why I upgraded to Ableton. Kay kung asa ko naglisod sa FL Studio, mas nasayo na noon ko sa Ableton Live. Plus, napad yung mga uban features na wala sa Ableton Live. Ay, wala sa FL Studio, kumbaga. Sorry, lutang na kayo. Pero, yun, I am learning how to use Logic Pro now. Learning how to use Logic Pro because I'm gonna be working for a recording studio there sa Davao, and it's important for me to really study that software para pag ako na pud ang mag-record for other clients, at least kabalan ako good. So it's all a matter of exploring, guys. It's all a matter of exploring. I'm not here para magbuot kung unsa nga klase nga audio interface ang inyong dapat gamiton, pero the use of DAWs magod is actually very amazing because digital na magod karon, and nganong daghan na kaayo ang bedroom producers karon. And even that term bedroom producers are kanang murag na coin na siya nga term. Kaya nga naman, it's because digital audio workstations are within reach na manggod. Within reach na siya, not like sa una nga you have to really work hard for you to have a studio recorded song. Kasi una dili pa man digital sa una. So a little bit of history lesson for everyone. The first ever DAW that was released um, was called Soundstream, and it was the first ever digital audio recorder, and it was released in 1977, diba? So it featured a tape drive and analog to digital converters. It had built-in commands for crossfades and splices, and an attached terminal for displaying the waveform. So yun, that was released in 1977. Isa man ang mga kanta nga ni chart ato 1977. Um, I was thinking Hotel California by Eagles, Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder, the Star Wars theme that was back in 1977, and Somebody to Love by Queen. And I guess it's not really necessary nga, I guess it wasn't really used agad-agad, but Soundstream wasn't just the only parang do na release. No, eventually in the late 1980s, na-release ang Sound Tools, which was eventually the predecessor for um which was eventually called Pro Tools. Ayan. And then in the mid 1990s, Cubase developed VSTs, or the virtual instruments that I just um, I'm gonna be talking about in a while. So just a little bit of history lesson for everyone. So mana na siya, guys. All right. So with the softwares that I'm gonna be recommending to you, so you can just take a screenshot of this. So of course, na diri sa left ang mga bigatin na makita ninyo sa um, recording studios. Logic Pro is only for Apple products, unfortunately. So yun. And honorable mentions na diri sa left, as a right side. Adobe Audition, I recorded a song there once. Record lang ko, wala ko nagamit yun, pero I guess it's okay. That's not my cup of tea. BandLab is a collaborative online digital audio workstation gapon. Like dara mo mag-record o mag-share with your friends in one session. Ano good. GarageBand, some of my friends use this para mag-send sa ilahang audio na needed for an acapella project. Yun. Mixcraft Pro is what I used back then, and I used that to orchestrate mga kanta sa misa. Yeah, okay. Nice guys lang mga virtual instruments. Labi ng orchestra. And last but not least, Audacity, which is everyone's go-to sound recorder. Ano good, like for podcasts and covers. I don't know, something like that. So yun. All right, so let's proceed, no? Let's proceed to virtual instruments. Ayan, this is my favorite. Okay, so virtual instruments. So these are software programs that emulate the sound of characteristics of real musical instruments and are played using a computer. So diri na mo abot ang importance sa MIDI controller, because without MIDI controllers, dili ninyo magamit to the fullest potential ang inyong virtual instruments. Diba? So mag-demonstrate ko. Okay, mag-demonstrate ko karon. Let me just switch my screen muna. Okay, so I guess makita na niyo ang Ableton Live. What I have here, diri sa taas, we delete these tracks. What I have here is a MIDI track, and kanina diri sa baba is nagbutang ko og Rhodes piano. Okay, so I'm gonna be playing piano here. Medyo dili niyo siya makita. Sige, ako na siya ibaba, be. Okay, ayaw lang kay. So sorry, hugaw kay kong room. Pero yeah, I'm gonna be playing one of Ableton Live's built-in virtual instruments, which is a Rhodes piano na akong gi-play po in the beginning. So let me play char. Medyo kabalo ko ng piano. Ana good no. So of course, dili lang ko makapili og if you look diri sa my left side, na ako'y mga different kinds of virtual instruments that is built in diri sa Ableton Live. So let's pick a bass sound. Ayan. Let's pick this one. So if mag-play ko, diba? So I'm using a MIDI controller right now para ma-emulate ako ang sound sa ing ato nga bass, na kind of bass sound. And it doesn't really have to be parang analog instrument na like a real bass guitar, pero as long as um these are built-in sounds mong good from Ableton, and having so much fun with this, makahimo jud mo maski unsa nga type of songs. So let me demonstrate to you guys one last instrument. Let me pick Moonpluck, a guitar virtual instrument. So ayan. So, di ba? It's playing with virtual instruments is very basta lingaw kay siya, because endless possibilities. Ganyan. All right, so let's proceed to the um uh, to the presentation. So ayan guys. So moto siya ang virtual instruments. And of course, tama day. I want to recommend you guys some virtual instruments pod. Oy, kasyong. Sige. Sige. Nakoy mga plugins po diri actually. If you can see, these are my personal plugins na nadiri of course. So when we talk about virtual instruments mong good, these are actually not just instruments, but these are also effects na magamit ninyo sa inyong pagmix o sa inyong pagmaster sa inyong songs or just different kinds of tracks in general. So with virtual instruments man po, medyo i-emphasize na ko siya as instruments because of the use of MIDI controllers. Akong keyboard actually, buti na lang na siya MIDI nga option para makagamit ko og virtual instruments sa Ableton Live. Good. Pero sige, I'm gonna recommend you guys this Roland keyboard collection na what's it called? Ayan. I'm not so sure if makita ninyo. Ayun, makita gid ninyo. Ayan. So I put this Juno 106 synth in MIDI track. So of course, let's try it out. This is gonna be a synth sound, so basig ko sa tayo. Yan. So I don't know asa na ako nagikuha ning mga Roland na mga keyboards, pero these really helped me in looking for sounds that I really want, especially kana mga synthy sounds, mga 80s sounds. So for example, let's use an 80s lead. Ayan, di ba? Kuya kayo siya. So, I recommend Roland keyboards. Another thing that virtual instruments that I can recommend is guitar rig. Wait lang ha. Let me insert an audio track. So naiuban actually, naiuban BSTs na you don't need MIDI controllers. So for example, let me recommend to you guys Helix Native. Basically, the Helix Native is the digital version of the Line 6 amp by Helix Pod. So let me look for a mangita ko og guitar na audio diri. Asa naman tong audio na guitar diri ay? Nag-sense ako. Ayun. So let me just import this one into Ableton Live. So ayan. So hinayon ako ni gamay ha para dili ka siya kusog. Asa na to eh? Hinayon lang na ko ni siya para dili ka siya kusog. Ayan. So kani siya. Clean guitar ni siya. Without, or it's just the raw guitar na gisend sa kwa by my friend. So if you listen to it first, clean siya na. Diba? Clean guitar sound lang siya. So meaning wala siya effects. Pero I have the Helix Native virtual instrument plugin, and I'm able to pick any kind of effect na pwede na ko gusto gamiton on this audio track, and it will change the sound of the original track. Balik na siya. Compare na to. Wala ko balik. Wala siya. Mili ko bag-o. Jazz Rivet 120. Ayan. Again, same. Tapos, pwede ko mag-adjust na rin. Basically, nga na siya. Nga na ang use of virtual instruments. So, yun. Ito pa lang ako ma-recommend sa inyo ha, guys, no? Okay, so mo lang to siya for our hardware and software. I will be showing you a diagram of how all of these come together, kaning hardware. Okay? So, ayan. So, kung makita niyo sa diagram, guys, nasa to nga ang audio interface because it is the bridge to everything, Manggod. No, so, the audio interface is USB connected to your laptop, which is also kanang detected by your DAW. And of course, the microphone, your instruments, and everything, even the studio monitors are plugged into the audio interface. Diba? So, ang front side of the Scarlett is the input, the back side would be the output. So, muna na speakers. And okay lang po if wala speakers because you can, ang isa po ka output mga diri, kaning gamay diri ang part sa Scarlett is the output for headphones. So, okay lang na wala kay speaker. So, this is basically a very simple setup for home producing. We're done. De, charot, wala pa bitaw. Pero, yeah, ayun. So, moto siya. Now that we have the equipment, now that we have the software and stuff, so how do we actually produce? You know, how to actually produce? It's kind of a very it's a hard question to answer. It's also a very easy question to answer, but there's actually no in between. Pero when you look up Mongod, when you look up like how to produce for beginners on Google, mostly ang imong makita is do you need to learn music theory? This is always the question I have to deal with, Mongod, especially when I am kanang in the academe of music. But the answer will always be yes and no. Yes, in a sense that you do need to learn music theory because it's basically it's very essential, Mongod. No, it's very essential for music production. Kaya of course, unsaon man ninyo paghimo og music ninyo kung wala mo kabalo unsaon pag like unsa man pag construct of chords, you know, itang ha. So, saan ninyo pag uh, saan ninyo pag kung himo pag compose og kanta kung dili mo kabalo mo chords, di ba? Something like that. How can you construct different kinds of harmony without learning basic music theory? How can you even construct a melody without music theory, di ba? So, yes, but actually no. No, in a sense that you don't need a degree. You don't need a degree to learn music theory. You don't need to go to school to learn music, actually. You just need to find the discipline to learn it for yourself if ingana ang imong option. Diba? So, mo lang na ako maingon. It's either yes and no. And actually, when it comes to music production food, medyo na-discourage ko gamay. No, it's because I've been seeing these ano mong god. I've been seeing these kanang mga ads on YouTube specifically that they are selling what we call MIDI sample packs. Basically, these are just pre-made chords or chord progressions or arpeggios or melodic lines tapos ibaligya sa imuha. Why is that? It's so outrageous, di ba nga? Ibaligyaan ka og C major. Imagine na, gibaligyan kag C major for $69. I can just do this for free. You can just do that for free if you could just take time to learn it. Diba? So arpeggios. Diba? So, muna siya, munang there is sometimes a shortcut is not a good thing. Diba? Okay, if you encourage buying or I don't know, ripping off MIDI sample packs, malimit ka. Malimit ka sa unsay available sa imo. O kay since naanad na kaanang naa sa imo ang atubangan, wala na nun kay space to improve, wala kay space to explore, diba? Kay mahadlok na mo ka basig mali. Diba? $69 for a C major chord. I mean, I can even do better by playing a C major 7 add 9 chord for free. It's a different thing, but yeah, again, yes and no to music theory. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, how do we produce? So of course, unsa may i-produce na to, you know? Of course, you're gonna make a song. You have to create a song. So I'm not gonna be talking about how to create a song. It should be, it's a whole different kind of topic namang good. So nana na sa inyo. But there are some tips na akong ibutang dre. So of course, learn about song structures. So song structures are basically structures of a song. Structure of a song. And the most common structure for pop songs are first kay intro, next kay verse, next would be pre-chorus, next would be chorus, and then it's either baliko nimo ang verse or mag-verse 2 ka, another pre-chorus, another chorus, and then it's either the bridge or mag-solo kanang ad-lib, and then balik sa pre-chorus or diretso sa chorus, and then outro. The very basic structure, diba? And what I would like you guys to do is listen to your favorite song. You know, listen to your favorite pop song and try to figure out kung unsay lahang structure, you know. Like unsa ni siya dapat nga lyric? Is it the verse? Unsa ni siya dapat nga lyric? Pre-chorus ni siya or chorus ni siya? Just a fun little exercise para sa inyo ha. Kay again, ginabalik-balik jud nako ang listen to the song that you want to make para makuha ninyo dito masid na mo structure nga ganahan mo, di ba? So masundog ninyo sa inyong sariling production, di ba? Again, I'm so sorry good sa aircon, ambot na say nakasaya but ka nagasigaw. So ayun, so next is consider using rhyme schemes. Again, I'm not gonna discuss that further. That is elementary grade stuff. So A, AABB, AABA. Kamu na bahala na, guys. Saan na ninyo. So, yun. Next is songwriting is the same as storytelling. It's very important for you to have this kind of mindset when it comes to songwriting. I admit myself, I'm not really that well versed pag yun. Like, I'm not dili pa kay ko kabalo kaayo mag storytelling when it comes to songwriting. Pero it really helps mangod when you listen to songs. I cannot stress this enough. Listen to music, guys. Kay makatuon manggod mo dito. Like, you can't just magically write like a very inspiring lyric like out of the blue. Like, mangita jud mag inspiration, which leads me to my last point. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. And this is the most misinterpreted quote ever, because ang pasabot mangod ani is it's not literally nga nangawat ka, okay? But what that means is that you may not be the first to try something or to do something, but you have to do it so well to the point nga murag naimo na siya, di ba? So what I understand about this is that um it's not that it's not so bad man jud di ay nga makapangopya ka. It's not really kopya man gud ang word. It's not sundog is not the word, but reference, inspired by ana good. And the essence of making it original is that you take this inspiration from someone else and then you put yourself into that. That's what makes it original. That's what makes it yours. I hope I'm making sense because that's what I understand from it. And yeah, yun. Kanang, the essence of just working on this inspiration that you've gotten from someone else and then putting your whole being into that work of art. That is what makes it original. That's what makes it yours. So muna siya ang pasabot sa quote, philosophy. Next is understand how orchestration and arrangement works. No, so orchestration is about knowing which instruments come together to form a band. Each plays a specific role in the frequency spectrum and are chosen to not clash with each other sonically. Okay, so magkatago example. The Beatles, upat sila kabog. So John Lennon is the guitarist or nagapiano siya, parang sa. Ringo Starr, the drummer. Paul McCartney is the bassist, and the George Harrison is another guitarist. So why are they so popular in their time? Like, kung mamina ko silang kanta ko rin, it's so simple. Like, it's so dali. Like, nga na lang ilang kanta, pero simple ra pag kailang chords. Although, simple kailang music, pero it's very inspiring. But what made them so popular? What made them be pop icons of their time? It's because dili sila yagaw. They fit together perfectly. They fit together and they complement each other sonically because ang ilahang instruments dili man nagka-clash with each other. Diba, sir? For example, nagoy nagka-clash with different roles. Like, for example, rhythm guitar and lead guitar, kick versus bass. Pero, you as a producer, manggod, you have to understand how these relationships work. Like, not just the person, like not literally the person, but the sound, how they work with other type of sound. Like, for example, the kick drum and the bass guitar, dapat magsunod yun ang kick drum ug ang bass kay para boom 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 jud, di ba? So that's what makes the Beatles sound good because dili sila nag-clash, di ba? So for example, si George Harrison ug si John Lennon nag-play sila og the same chord. For example, si John Lennon diri siya nag C major. Diri siya sa baba ng C major. Dili pod pwede nga si George Harrison mo play pod the same type of notes. Kay wala na. Although they are playing the same chord, dili na siya dynamic paminawon. what if mag-play si John Lennon naging ani dali sa baba, si George Harrison mag-play og ani di sa taas. Ano naman. Or diba? So, siya tension it's because of the chord, pero sonically speaking, in the frequency spectrum, wala sila nag-clash because lahi lang ang frequencies nga lagi touch. Siya. So next is arrangement. So arrangement refers to when each of the instruments in your orchestration are actually playing or not. Knowing when to drop them out and bring them back in can add a level of excitement and life to your songs, upping the energy levels during certain parts like the chorus. So this is the part where ibalik na po nako og mention ang listen to the music that you want to produce. It's because dira ninyo makuha again kung songwriting makuha ninyo kung song structure niyo makuha ninyo, kung ang mix makuha ninyo dito, ang arrangement sad inyo makuha, di ba? Ma-inspire mo nga kabalo ko ani nga kung tahay punk rock or rock in general or punk rock nga kanang Avril Lavigne type of songs kay sa intro kay samo kayo like bulo jud ang electric guitar and lead guitar tapos pagabot sa verse kay mo muhunong di ba kanang ang drums pod kay kanang mo lay back siya gamay pagabot sa verse tapos pagabot ng pre-chorus dira na mo bulo tapos dang track tapos chorus ana na kanang nagets niyo kung point guys no dili na ko siya ma-describe in words pero kanang ingana siya di ba I can't stress enough the importance of listening to music jud for reference basically man ako pasabot. All right, so next, mixing and mastering. So the crucial part in producing, so mixing is the art of balancing the variance of volume levels, positioning in the stereo field, and the clarity of each instrument. Ayan. So, mixing, basically, ang pagsabot ana is, gitimpla nimo. Gitranslate na ako. Gitimpla ninyo ang each individual tracks sa inyong project or sa inyong session for it to sound good and at the same time to sound as one. Good. So dala na magmatter ang pagbutang og effects, pagbutang og kanang pagbutang og mga EQ, mga compressor, whatever, stuff like that. Good. So mixing is the most crucial part. It's because it's not about good. You're not just listening to your song. Good. The purpose of this talk and the purpose of producing and recording is for us to put them out there. Diba? And to have a good mix is important because you're not just listening to your own song over and over again. Of course, other people should listen to your own song, guys. Good. And to master mixing is to just keep doing it, manggod. So if your first project you think na this is such a good mix, then go post it. And then when your next project mix na pud ka, medyo nalahi na yung paminaw compared sa your first mix. Okay. I will correct the mistakes na ako nahimo sa first mix in the second mix of this project. Release na po na nimo or post na po nimo. Until magbalik-balik na siya until na-enjoy solid na improvement ka. No, na-enjoy kayo solid na improvement sa imong journey, sa imong sige practice of mix. Good. And actually mastering pod the goal here is kanang sa mastering gamay na lang imong buhaton kanang i-compress na lang gamay ang whole mix nimo para dili kay siya kusog walay maglabaw nga volumes tapos gamay lang nga EQ gamay lang jud like super finishing touches kay a good mix will need only a little bit of mastering manggod ana lang jud siya so yun So ang nakabutang diri is this can literally make or break a song. So you should take it seriously. Now, how do we mix? That is the question for tonight, for today, for this day. Ayan. Balik ko na ako ni. Okay. Actually, wala na ako siya balik, pero kagets mo sa kung pasabot. Listen to reference tracks. Listen to the music that you want to make. Nanong balik-balik, mali. Sa muka. Oy. It's because, guys, no sugarcoating. Walay mix nga gwapo, nga mahitabo first time. Walay nga na. You know? Walay ka nang mabuhi rag kalit kang maanak ra nimo og kalit na mix and mo na nimong gamiton every day. Kay maski alam mo na siya. Maski you want to produce a certain type of genre, dili pasabot nga same ra pud imong mix sa tanan na kanta na mo produce. Ana good. Ako, I produce a cappella music. Pero it's not all the time nga parehas ko og mix actually. Kanang I will always start from scratch. I will always start from the beginning. Like wala ko ginasave na presets actually. And sa mga previous projects ako makalimot ko unsa man unsa nina ko pag mix kana man naglisod naman ko nga gwapo man kito sa una. And I have to find that all over again every time I mix a new project. Ana good. So it's so important for you to listen, no, and use your ears. Ana good, because your ears nakalimot ko ingon from the beginning. Your ears is the most important instrument for this whole endeavor of music production. You know, kay once you think that a mix for you sounds good, it will sound good. And then eventually you will learn from your mistakes. You will evaluate if it really did sound good. And then makatuon na ka, you know, basically. You know, I sound like mura ko gubog, pero I'm spitting truths here, diba? Because this will be your map to your treasure, manggod. Like listening to reference tracks, this will be your map to the treasure, which is a godly ultimate mix. Ganyan. Okay, so di na ako napalagayan. Okay, so how do we actually mix? How do we mix? I will show you some technical mga buhaton para pag-mix mo. Okay? Gamay na lang time actually. I'm so sorry. Pero unta ma-extend pa. Pero first, gain staging. Gain staging is the process of making sure that the audio is set to an optimal level for the next processor in the chain in order to minimize noise and distortion. Basically, you have to kanang set an optimal kanang volume sa inyong each track para like walay maglabaw, walay malubong in the mix. Ana. Dapat same lang jud og volume tanan. Okay? And actually depende po na siya sa arrangement, diba? So for example, kung for example sa a cappella music with me, harmony lang man tanan, diba? Harmony lang tanan ang nasa likod. So dapat parehas tanan og level ang harmony, pero mas patasan pa nato gamay ang nag-solo at atong kanta, di ba? Of course, very basic, very say tawagan niya, very obvious, di ba? So ako example ana na ano na nako na say tawagan na gain stage na ko nga project is kadjot lang ha. Ako example na gain stage na akong project is actually it's still my favorite mix until now. Ambot ganahan jud kay ko ani nga mix. Pero it's my song. It's my cover of Just the Two of Us with my friends. Okay, so let me just screen share this to you guys. Ayan. So, maminaw lang sa takadit ha.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through. To make those rainbows in my mind when I think.
Okay, skip na to darang part. Gusto na ko paminawon ang kanang naana tanan harmony with my friends, with my classmates. Okay, so para makasabot mas akong pasabot.
Just a wheel full of no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait.
O, diba? Kung nabantayan ninyo guys, katong si naka-red ka ganina, diba nag-solo siya. Tapos ni-insert siya sa harmony. And akong ibuhat dito is, katong ni part nga ni una siya, katong the part nga ni una siya, ipantay na ko ang iyang volume with the other backup singers para mupilit sila sa harmony. Ana good, mupilit sila ilahang mo blend gud ilang voices tapos mupilit pa gid ang harmony. Diba? So, kung madungog ninyo,
Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late.
ayan, wala. Flex lang na nako slide. Diba? So, mo na siya kung pasabot like the importance of gain staging. Diba? Para dili mo maglisod, ang importante man gud aning gain staging is dili mo maglisod when it comes to kanang mabutang na ninyo ang effects. If mabutang naman gud ninyo yung effects tapos dili kay ninyo mag-gain stage, na maklaro gud ang kanang kung nabay naglabaw or kung nabay kanang nalubong sa mix. Ano good. Muna siya. So next, equalization. Is easily my favorite na buhatonon when it comes to mixing. EQ stands for equalization. It's basically for us to manipulate the frequency content of your recordings and help all of the elements of your production work together sonically. Ayan. So, to EQ means a lot of things. So, for me, as a vocal producer kanang sa a cappella music, it's important for me to know kung unsay dapat EQ pattern sa, for example, soprano na voice. Lahi ang EQ pattern sa soprano na voice, sa tenor na voice, sa bass na voice. O dapat kabulo ko kung asa dapat nga frequencies akong gusto na kwaon, ana, diba? Para mapantay-pantay na ako sila tanan, diba? Mapantay-pantay na ako sila tanan. So, let me pull out a project 3A. Now, wala pa actually na ako na mix, pero I want to demonstrate this to you guys. Para mag-gets ninyo kung pasabot. Diba? So, let me share Ableton Live sa inyo ha. Ayan. So, wala pa na ako siya na mix. Pasensya sa auto-tune. Wala pa po na ako siya na gain stage. Actually, unfortunately, wala pa dito nag-start. Pero let's just listen for it a bit. This is me and this is P Square. You know, appeal ko. Ako ang solo.
You with the sad eyes. Don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it.
Kasi na gain stage, wala pa dyan siya na EQ. So if we listen to my audio, kana ako lang,
you can lose sight of it all in the darkness inside you can make you feel so small.
Ayan. If you could just look past the auto-tune, yung ano dyan ko mix, magbutan dyan ko auto-tune before. Pero if you could just look past the auto-tune and describe the quality of that audio, medyo basic pa siya paminawon, which is something na dili pwede kay ano man ko, soloist man ko ani nga song. And dapat i-boost na ko ang certain frequencies na ko diriya og magkuha po kog certain frequencies diri. So this is what I do. I do subtractive EQ. It means I do subtractive EQ plus additive EQ. It means that I am removing and also adding some frequencies na dili nako gusto o gusto nako sa isa nako ka vocal recording. So for example, subtractive EQ. Kuha nako ang bass na sound. Maghimo ko low pass filter, high pass filter diri, meaning kinakuha nako ang frequencies diri adapita ng area. Pangitaan nako You can lose sight of it all in the darkness. No, if you can just look there is a baba, no? You can lose sight of it all in the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true. Ayan, so yung ani ko mix, sorry nahilom ko. Yung ani ko mumix ako ang vocal nga kana solo nga audio. So kaning nasa baba diri, gikuan ako ni diri ang fifth yung silapit because dili ko gusto makadungog og ako sug kayo. Plus gikuan po nako diri adapita nga frequencies diri area dapita kay dili ko gusto makadungog og basic kay nga sound. Nako kay solo man ko diri. So it means dapat mo stand out ang ako ang vocals kay nag-solo man ko. Dili dapat ko part sa harmony. Although dapat part ko sa harmony like mo pilit gyapon ko sila but in the essence na kanang maklaro sa listeners nga siya ang nag-solo. Ana siya. Ana gud siya. So basically mo na siya ang mag EQ. Okay? Next is pitch correction. Pitch correction is my favorite thing of all kay basically I can't really say it's cheating because real talk lang for a bit no. Using auto tune and using pitch correction, it depends. It really depends on nganong it depends on the purpose nganong magbutang og auto tune or EQ. For rappers like sa hip hop, auto tune has become such a staple nga kanang part na siya sa iyang sound. It's not just because yabag sila. It's actually just because it's part of the sound na ang auto tune. And with pitch correction, it actually really helps me. It helps me correct, sa mga sharps and flats na ko na na nasa ko recording, kay ako man good when mag-record ko, sometimes dili nako i-mind ang yabag as long as makanta na ko siya og tarong kay eventually ma-pitch correct ra man gud nako ang yabag anong good. So I don't really use auto-tune. Ginabutangan lang ako auto-tune ako mga tracks para makabalo ko kung asa nga parts ang dili day kayo yabag ana good. Para kung makadungog ko og kanang pagmukurog na gani ang akong tingog sa auto-tune, pasabot na ako siya nga vocal og record. So man na siya. Again, sorry kayo jud sa akong aircon lagot. Next, compression. The compression keeps the vocal at or the audio signal or the audio track at the right level throughout the tune, or lets them jump out of the mix a little better without being louder. Ayan. So compression, from the name itself, compress. I-compress niya ang tibuok audio na track para mapantay ang volume niya. And important din siya, especially for pop music, kay although nagagamit gud gyapon og dynamics ang pop music, dili man gud siya ing ana kahalata jud. Kanang it's important for us to compress like even final mixes like sa mastering. It's important for us to compress para ma-keep nato siya at a certain level na dili kay siya kusog paminawon, especially pag i-stream na siya sa mga streaming sites. So pag mag-mix pud kag classical nga music, dili pud ka pwede magbutang og compression kay nga naman matanggal man gud ang dynamics, and dynamics is very important ba in classical music. But it's okay, sige lang. I guess wala man siguro mag-mix og classical music dra. It's just something I learned while working on my recital. Nagbutang kog compressor sa ako ang classical guitar og nawala jud akong mga dynamics. So, yan. Next is panning. Ayan, panning. It's basically manipulating the stereo with like ang stereo meaning kanang duha ka speakers gid ang gigamit like left and right or different parts of the mix is a processing technique that's central to contemporary remixing. Ayan. So stereo with processing can make a lead vocal sound huge in a chorus or move a synth pad to the far reaches of a stereo field. So basically, if you want a sound to go to the left or to the right, magbuhat na niyo sa inyong do. So let me just give you an example, no? Okay. So kung nabantayan ninyo diri sa left, makita ninyo yung C. Diba? C. So it means naka-center ni tanan tracks nako. Pero what I do man good with a cappella music is that akong gina-center lang ang main vocal o ang bass. Okay? Dili pwede left and right ang bass kay ano man, that's so weird. So kung ginahimo is gina-alternate na ako or depende sa ako. Okay? So let's listen to this part. Let's listen to this part na naka-center lang tanan. Okay? So dali lang ta.
True colors are beautiful, beautiful like a rainbow.
Ayan. Again, please ignore the auto-tune. So naka-center sa tanan no. Wala pa na sila naka-mix. What if i-alternate na ko left and right ang uban ka tracks diri sa tunga. Left and right ako niya. Oops, mali ko. Okay. Left na ko ang duha, right na ko ang the rest. Now, what would the difference be if we listen to the same part na naka-pan ang upat ka tracks?
True colors are beautiful, beautiful like a rainbow.
Compared sa center lang sila tanan, mas loose na paminawon o mas wide na paminawon ang arrangement. Kaya nga naman, na-separate man ako slightly ang uban harmonies. Nabulag na ako siya sa left o right pan, which makes it kanang nabutangan na nun og space sa tunga para malabay dito ang bass o ang lead vocal. Og loose na siya paminawon. Compared atong center lang sila tanan, nasila sa tunga which is very yagaw na. So very yagaw na, di ba? So wala na ta mo na ingnan nga mag your headphones, pero yeah, that's basically the effect of panning. So yun, let's proceed to the presentation. Last but not least, reverb and delay. Ayan. So reverb recreates the sonic activity to give listeners the impression that the sounds they are hearing were recorded in a naturally reverberant space. Ayan, so reverb basically murag na ay naga-echo or na ay kanang nabilin nga sound after a sound is produced. Pero ang delay, lahi po ang delay. Kana noon ang echo ang delay. So delays, they capture an audio source and repeat it back one or more times short over time. How do you use reverb and delay? So, akong example ani is, let me pull out an example ha. My example for a reverb and delay na effect is my song called Maskin Pa. Let's fast forward gamay. Use headphones para madungog ninyo.
Nanuman kumabalang, nanuman kumatingay.
Okay, so kung nabantayan ninyo dapita, especially sa first part, madungog ninyo ang nanuman kumabalaka, balaka, balaka. Dala nagigamit ang delay. O kung nabantayan ninyo, nagadagandagan ang vocal, di ba? Kaya nagagamit ko plug-in nga it messes with the panning. So muna nagadagandagan ang vocal from left to right. Tapos, it has reverb pod at the same time. So dala na ko gi-utilize na ko ang tulo ka elements or katong tulo ka akong bago lang gi-describe kaganina into this kind of thing sa part of the song. Kaya gusto mo guna ko nga medyo ethereal sa paminawon, light siya paminawon. Gusto na ko ngayong anak kay para inspirational naman nga song akong gihimo good. So dili ko gusto nga tight siya paminawon, tight, aggressive. So mo nang gamitan ako reverb, delay and panning at the same time. So let's listen to it again. So, and mind the three components na ako ang gi-discuss.
Ano man kung mabalang
Okay, so mo na to siya. Ano maghilak? The joke. So, mo to siya guys, ang kung paggamit sa reverb, delay o panning pod. Okay, sige. So, those are basically the very basic stuff, no, na maano na to, magamit ninyo when it comes to mixing and mastering your tracks. Okay, so dili na kayo nako explain further kay ano na siya, taas na kayo siya nga topic, pero it's always important for everyone to explore. All right, so yan, next is production tips and tricks. Ayan, so medyo taas na kayo atong discussion, no? Unta okay lang ni. Production tips and tricks. So duha lang ni siya actually. So first is looping. Looping is, ako pasabot sa looping is dili ka ng live looping ha, pero kanang to start a track mong good, it's always a good idea sometimes to loop your drums and bass, so your chord progression, ano kung sa gusto ninyo. Okay, wala na siyang tingog. Ano good. So looping helps you in a way na kanang makahuna-huna pa mo. Like mo man jud gud na ang start when you try to kanang create a song na music ang first. Maghuna-huna sa jud mo sa chord progression, maghuna-huna po mo sa drum beat, maghuna-huna po mo sa bass, o mag-i-loop sa ninyo na tanan hantod makahuna-huna na mo og structure along the way. And it's a good start, but always remember that dili pud kayo gamit ang mag-loop when you are creating the structure of the whole song. Kay a whole song should be linear ba ya? Like dili siya mo loop, like ang elements niya is dili mo loop, like kani sa first chorus di balik na siya sa second chorus gyapon nga elements, like give it some variation pod when you are actually creating the whole structure of the song. All right, so yun. Last but not the least is sampling. So music sampling is the process by which a musician or record producer uses a portion of an existing song in a brand new recording. Ayan. So I want to confess something to you guys. No? I actually sample din. Okay? I actually sample din. So kung nabantayan niyo ganin sa Just the Two of Us, buto ka yung beatbox. Nganong na pull off ko na siya nga effect. It's because I sampled actual beatbox tracks with Manggod. And sampling is kind of, sometimes it's a very scary thing to do kay basig masakpan Manggod ka. Pero kani Manggod ako is nagi-sample na ako ng beatbox tracks from Pentatonix na beatbox. So if i-play na ko ni siya sa inyo guys. Play na ko ning beatbox na ko dre sa isang project na ko dre with the beatbox samples na akong gigamit. Okay? And diba? By using samples Manggod, it makes it so consistent. It makes it seem like it's real. It's kind of cheating pero not really, because ang goal Manggod na to dre is to really produce a authentic sound. And with this kind Manggod, actually gi-mix man po na ko ni siya gamay. So mo nang gamit kaysa ko mag-sample. So mo na akong confession. Pero nag-record ka pag beatbox na ako. It's just that not all of it is used. So my beatbox are heavily sampled. So yun, mo na siya. Diba?
Hey, daddy. But I hit right back cause you got that, yeah. Why you always wanna act like lovers, but you never wanna be each other's?
So ano siya, ano na siya guys, ang akong akong take on sampling, di ba? So again, you can always do that. Kung bahala sa inyo pag-sample. I haven't really sampled a lot of things. Ingato lang man. Justin Bieber's song Peaches, the piano part was sampled from his demo video of him singing the song with the piano. Actually, um, Chick Corea Spain the intro of Spain was sampled. Actually, I can't call it sampled, but um, he just played the second movement from Joaquin Rodrigo's Concierto de Aranjuez. So you can just look that up by yourself. Pero ano siya. So tapos kato kaganina nagsample ko og beatbox from Pentatonix. So yun. I am guilty of that. So final words of wisdom, Chares. Okay, so gamay na lang nako ni kay almost 2 hours naman data no. So first is always ask for feedback. Do not always think that you have created a perfect mix. Ana lagi. So it's very ironic no na when you think the mix is good, it means it's good. Pero it's be always open to criticism, you know, whenever you are asking for feedback, because that's how you grow man good, you know. And if ma-offend man good mo dayon, very cliche, pero if ma-offend man good mo dayon, then saan ninyo pagtuon? Kung ma-offend mo, dili na naman mo gusto mong padayon, di ba? So it's a lose-lose situation sa imuha ug sa imuhang gina-pursue nga goal, di ba? So next is never just rely on your ears. It's so ironic. I just literally said to everyone na your ears is the most important instrument of in music production. But actually, it's true. Not just your ears, Manggod, but also other people's ears. Mo nang it's important for you to ask for feedback, like basig na kay producer friend or basig na lang kay friend nga how like gusto maminaw music, or tapos okay ingnan ni mga bay pwede ka maminaw ani tapos pwede ko nimo i-feedback, pwede ko nimo hatagan og feedback, ako din nag-mix ani, ako nag-arrange ani, something like that. Tapos kung ganahan sila, then that's good. Tapos kung nasa sila feedback to may, then that's even better, di ba? Okay, you take note of those things and that will just make you and make your output a whole lot better, you know. So and last but not least, of course, practice. Wala man jud lain no. Mo jud ni ang music, guys, mag-practice lang gyud, sige practice sa muka oy. Pero how can you get good results without, you know, doing the same thing all over again? No, repetition legitimizes by Adam Neely, and it's true. Like every time, if you do it every time, the more you do it, the more you get better at it. Diba? So I just don't have anything more to say about that, you know. So moto siya actually, and I thank you so much, no, for listening to this whole hour and more than a half hour talk. I'm so sorry if na sobraan ko. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity. Unta na mo natun-an maski gamay lang gikan sa kuha. And I still have a lot to learn, and para sa inyo nga mga aspiring na bedroom producers dia, please ipadayon mo, no? Ipadayon mo, or kung you have a strong passion jud na gusto mo mag-ingani, go guys, and suporta lang jud ko kung unsa mo inyong gusto, like kung saan klase nga genre, saan klase inyong journey. Pero if you want any help, please don't hesitate to ask me, no. I will try my best to really help you out. And yun, again, thank you so much. And let me just plug my social media and stuff, no. So wala siya, guys. And also, can I just plug this one? Shameless plug. I just mentioned, di ba nga, I'm gonna be graduating in June, and I will be having before that, I will be having my graduation recital. It will just be a virtual graduation recital. It will be on May 20, and it will be on my official Facebook page. So makita ninyo it's at It's Richmond Official. And unta na mo dito, no? So please do check out my YouTube pod and Spotify and Instagram. It's just Richmond. And yun, again, thank you so much, and I will be catering some questions now by the present me, because I'm already past me. And
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Richmond. I know for sure our participants learned so much for this workshop. And in this part, we will entertain questions. Please press the raise hand button, turn on your microphones and camera, or you can type your questions in the Google Meet chat. Also, just for the information of everyone, we are live in Canvas via YouTube, and I can see questions coming up for our speaker. Please, if you are too shy to turn on your microphones and camera, you can just type your questions in the Google Meet chat. All right, for our first question, Sir Richmond, how do I deal with microphone noise? Is it a wire problem? And if so, what wires do you recommend?
Hello. Ayan, madungog ba ko?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, hello sa tanan, no. I'm so sorry kay taas kaya akong presentation. Pero going back to the question, with microphones, how do you deal with noise from microphones? So first, gimension ako ni siya, find a suitable place for recording nga dili ma-pick up ang noise. Pero naay situations man noon nga na-joy noise ang inyong microphone, no. And yes, it can be a wire problem, but the best solution for that is to use XLR wires, you know. And for beginners, medyo lisod kayo na siya, and that's why I mentioned the na mag-invest, no? Because for audio interfaces mong good, they usually most of the time naa sila XLR cable jud, and that is built for microphones, especially condenser microphones. So yun, kana lang ako maingon, condenser microphones use XLR wires, cords, tapos i-plug ninyo sa inyong audio interface and wala na mo yung noise virtually. That's your solution.
Thank you, sir. Guys, you don't have any other questions? Have here from Lexley. In your opinion po, should one invest more on the guitar or the amplifier?
Sige, should one invest more on the guitar or the amplifier? Kani, depende na siya sa inyong situation, no? So, for example, if nagatuon pa mo sa instrument, of course, guitar sa jud mo, di ba? And for amplifier mong good, I haven't really had so much experience with recording guitar with an amplifier. Kanang most of the time mong good pag studio recording kay nagabutang sila og mic in front of the amp, tapos katong mic is nakasaksak sa mixer and then padulong sa do. Pero what I would like to say to you is kanang if lang, no, invest in a audio interface. Kay para what I do man good is nakoy guitar, electric guitar, and katong chord niya pwede na siya masaksak sa audio interface para maka-record mo sa inyong guitar mismo padulong sa inyong audio interface. Ano good. Kay para dili na ninyo kinahanglan kaayo mag-amp unless kung like gusto niyo mag-live performance, no? Lahi na po na siya ng story. But with home producing man good, it's important for us to really capture the sound sa atong instruments nga kanang from the instruments mismo. You know, dili na nato kailangan og daghan pa kay nga bridge from there. So yun, guitar, saksakin sa audio instrument, and automatically padulong na siya sa audio interface, then padulong na siya sa do.
All right, thank you, sir. As we are pressed with time, we will entertain two more questions. We have here from Perlin. If I want to go live for a performance, which is better, mixer or audio interface?
Okay, so kani depende ni siya. Unsa nga live yung pasabot? Online nga live or live nga live? Nga nga naay tao, di ba? So kung live na live, so what I do is daghan kay ni siya nga situations no. Kay akong ginagamit is dalon ako akong Focusrite, dalon ako ko laptop, isaksak na ko kung either piano or guitar sa akong audio interface, tapos nagdagan ang do sa laptop, tapos mangayo ko aux cord sa I guess sa sound system, isaksak na ko sa ko laptop, tapos daan na mo out ang daan na mo out ang output kanang sound magikan sa do, di ba? Tapos madula-dulaan na nako ang mga virtual instruments sa akong piano or makapili na kog mga effects kung nag-guitar ko ana siya. Tapos kung ano man pod good, mixer man good is a different thing because kinahanglan mo gud nato og kanang when recording man good, when talking about recording, mas gamit ang mixer because sa karon man gud nga panahon is ang mixer man gud sa recording studio is for monitoring na siya. For monitoring na siya, pero kanang the magic usually happens sa computer na mismo. You know, ana na siya. So kung online nga live, akong ginagamit to be honest is atong V8 ano good. Tapos naman na siya isaksakanan for ano no, naman na siya isaksakanan for either instrument, so unsang klaseng instrument. Tapos na ang V8 man pod, especially katong 2.0 na V8 kana siya gamayng mixer capabilities no maano ninyo. So it all really depends on the situation no, kung sa inyong gusto buhaton. Siya. I can't really say kung unsay mas better, but since we're talking about home producing and recording, of course, I'm gonna go with the audio interface.
Okay, thank you, sir. We will entertain one more question. It's from Perlin. Can I record high quality recordings through my phone? If so, any tips?
Yes, you can actually. Sa mga cellphones karon, surprisingly daghan kaayo na maka-record with just a phone. No, ang tips is use a sound card jud. Unang uso ang Como last pandemic kay nagagamit sila og sound card. Tapos in turn, the sound card is like mura siya gamay nga audio interface kumbaga, and maka-route mo og sound signals padulong sa inyong phone para gapo kayo ng stream, di ba? Og actually nagamit ko na siya sa akong mga friends pod while kanang mangayo kog recording sa ilahang mga voice, tapos nagamit nila ano. Tapos if wala mong galing mo yung ana, actually gwapo sa tong kanang sa iPhone na earphones, tapos ang ilahang murag kaning diri sa kilid, gwapo po na siya ano. Pero again, if makaya lang ninyo, kung sa phone mo magamit, you can always invest for a like ano lang kanang budget na sound card para maka-record mo og high quality na audio.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And this juncture, we would like to thank our speaker. Thank you so much, Sir Richmond, for a fruitful discussion, and I'm sure our aspiring artists have so much questions at this part. Let me read to you the certificate that will be given to our speaker. Certificate is presented to Mr. Richmond Figuera as a resource speaker on the musikANIMO workshop Huni sa Balay Home Producing at LaSalle University via Google Meet on May 11, 2022, signed by Earl Hendricks S. Reyes, Co-Festival Director of musikANIMO, Rian Christian C. Amakna, Co-Festival Director of musikANIMO, Syra Apple Narit, Co-Festival Director of Sulat Nimo, and Mr. Ted Najan F. Takan, the Festival Director of ANIA. Thank you so much, Sir Richmond. And again, We thank you for sharing your time and talent to our aspiring artists.
Thank you so
Everyone who
much.
attended this workshop seemed completely absorbed by your discussion, and it's a tremendous honor for us to have you as our speaker today.
Thank you so much for
Oh,
having me.
thank you so much, sir. And also, we would like to thank our festival director, Mr. Ted Najantakan, to the co-director of musikANIMO, Mr. Ray and Christian Amakna, and the rest of the team, of course, to our dearest participants from Region 9 and 10, LaSallian students, thank you for participating. But before we end this workshop, we would like to invite you all at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow, May 12, 2022, we will be having musikANIMO Musika og Liriko Songwriting Workshop. To register, you may click the link in the Google Meet chat. And at this moment, I would like to request everyone to please turn on their camera, for we will take a photo for documentation purposes. All right, and a count of three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. And also reminding everyone to please don't forget to scan the QR code that will be flashed in your screens for the evaluation form. Or you can also click the link in the Google Meet chat. The form will be available from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Please be guided. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that ends our workshop. I hope that you had fun and may this inspire and drive you to write more songs. Once again, this is Irene. May you all take care and may God bless you all. Saint John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. Animo La Salle.
Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to De La Salle. We'll hold the banner high and bright, a shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail, hail. Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to De La Salle. We'll hold your banner high and bright, the shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail, hail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail, hail.
ANIA, LaSalle Harvest of the Arts Festival. ANIA is a Cebuano term that literally means there is, and it bears another Cebuano term, ani, which means harvest. Also, A in ANIA is purposely separated to represent an acronym that means arts. And so, ANIA is a festival suggesting that there is harvest of arts in this part of Mindanao. This year's ANIA is celebrated during the month of the Founders Feast, St. John Baptist de La Salle, with three major sub-festivals, musikANIMO, musikANIMO, and Sulatnimo.
Kuyog gabi sa panaglambing,